Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to the off-road test of Honda's new Transalp. Hopefully you've already seen our on-road test, now it's time to get down and dirty off-road. So today is all about the off-road side of the new Honda Transalp. For those of you who don't know, for 2025 Honda have updated the Transalp. The most significant thing is a tweak to the suspension. And when I rode the bike on road, when Honda said tweak, it's more of a tweak. It's a massive change and it feels very different. There's also cosmetic changes, there's also a new dash, and a few other tweaks. So the power stays the same, so that's 92 horsepower at 9,500 RPM, 75 Newton meters torque at just over 7,000 RPM, and as I said, we've got that new reworked suspension, and but with similar travel as it was before. All we've done to the Transalp for this test is just fitted the more off-road biased tyres and just left it as standard. Now the plan was quite simple, is to ride the bike as a normal person would in the normal Honda modes, then tweak the modes and play with the modes to cater for the off-road tyres and the kind of tracks that we're riding. So when you ride the Transalp, what I would describe as normally on fire tracks like we have here in Austria, and you use the Honda modes, it's very simple, it's very easy to ride, the suspension is far better than it was in 2024, it's much more composed, it has much more feeling, the steering is more accurate, it feels more connected to you, it's not wayward, it's not bottoming out, it's not springing on the rebound. It's much more of a controlled motorcycle, it's much easier to ride. The gravel mode that we have as the standard gravel mode is possibly too restricted in that when you're going uphill and the rear wheel starts spinning on a lot of the loose gravel we've got here, then it's actually quite difficult to actually go forward because the traction control is kicking in too much. It's fine when you're just on kind of gravelly flat tracks, but when you start going uphill and it's very loose, then you're always kind of, I wouldn't say fighting it, but it's working against you, not for you, which might be good for really inexperienced riders, but I think for the average rider they want to turn that down, which you can do with the new dash. The new dash and the new switchgear is easier and more intuitive than it was before, but it's still not 10 out of 10. I would say the old dash that I actually have, because I've got the old Transalp, is 6 out of 10, and this is 7.5, 8 out of 10. It was a school report, much improved, but could do a little bit better. But once you've played with those modes, once you've turned the traction down or turned it off completely, then you can have a little bit more fun and it's a little freer and easier to ride. ABS is always on the front, but you can remove it from the rear. And I think Honda have gone very safe with that, so you can feel it working from time to time. But once you've started to remove the rider aids, you've still got 92 horsepower. This is a quick bike, this is a fun bike, this is a bike that you can enjoy, and it's way better than the 24 off-road. In terms of ergonomics, everything's thereabouts there. We've removed the rubber from the pegs are in a nice position, it's nice and grippy, the bars are quite high, the screen's quite low, I can see over the screen. It's not immediately obvious what's happening on the dash, it takes a bit too long to look down at the dash. And then the only other hindrance is the fuel tank. When you're riding it normally, like the first couple of laps that we did today, I would say was kind of just normal pace that you would expect if you were riding off-road, on-road, off-road, on-road. But for those riders who ride a lot of green lanes and ride a lot off-road and a little bit more experience, then the fuel tank stops you moving forward up the bike, and it kind of splays your legs wide apart. It doesn't feel natural, and because your legs are always touching the fuel tank, you're always kind of reminded of the weight. So you're always going, oh, there's the fuel tank, oh yeah, I am on, you know, a relatively heavy bike and I am trying to do something off-road. So that's the only slight hindrance, but as I say, it's much improved from the 24 bike. And performed better off-road than I was actually expecting. It's relatively easy. It's nice in the slow speed stuff. It's got a lovely natural balance. The initial connection on the throttle is really good as well. And I think relatively inexperienced riders who are drawn to the Transalp are going to enjoy the bike off-road. It's not that intimidating, and if you want to venture off-road, those rider aids have got such a massive safety net that you can do it relatively easy. And those who are a little bit more experienced can turn the rider aids off. But I think there is limitations of the Honda. You know, the fuel tank is slightly in the way, and I think really good riders are going to find the limit relatively easy. But as I say, this is supposed to be a test for the average rider. And if you're thinking about the Transalp and you're thinking about going off-road, then do it. It's perfectly capable of doing it and very safe at the same time. We hope you've enjoyed our off-road trail. I have thoroughly enjoyed riding it off-road. If you want to know what it's like on-road, then there's a film here somewhere. And yeah, I'm going to feel a little bit disappointed when I get back to the UK and ride my 24 Transalp. Might have to think about suspension upgrade. But thanks for watching. If you want to know any more technical details about all the improvements they've made to the 2025 Transalp, fire some questions below. Click the subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.